Hey guys, and welcome back to yet again another video. Today, I want to talk about something very important. So, we're currently 1 month away until like the season ends, right? And there's only 1 month left. I think like a month and like 1 or 2 weeks until the ranked season ends, right? And there's still plenty of people who are having trouble like climbing to gold, climbing to platinum, climbing to diamond, to wherever division they want to be. And specifically people that also have like questions about the best Riven builds, the build that I use, and like all that stuff. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to be explaining the Riven runes, the Riven builds that I use, and everything else that you got to know for this last month of playing Riven, and hopefully help you guys like getting to your division. So with that being said, guys, let's just get over to the runes right away. Where is it? Runes, there we go. Okay, so the runes are really simple, right? There's currently like lots of people talking about Riven with Grasp, although I never really recommend actually taking Grasp like ever. I've been doing it for a while, but Conquer is way better, so I always recommend you guys like going to the Conquer page instead. It's way better. So usually the path that I take is very simple. You want to take Conquer. Triumph is always better than the other two. I always take Alacrity, mainly because Alacrity allows your combos to be a lot more smooth, allows you to split a lot better, and in case you might play against like a tank or something like that, and you can't completely kill your opponent very fast, that's where attack speed is going to come in and allow you to do more damage when you're completely on cooldown. So you can also take Tenacity. It's pretty good if the enemy team has like a ton of CC. You can also take Bloodline, although Bloodline is one of the worst in my opinion. I'd always recommend going Alacrity if you're kind of unsure about Tenacity or Bloodline. That's what I do. Now, as far as these three, you always want to take Last Stands. It's always better. I've been experimenting a lot. It's always better. Now, as far as the secondary page, you always want to take the free boots, the magical footwear, together with the cosmic insight. This is pretty much the best page that you can go for. Also, you can take, if you go down into the resolve page, you can also take Shield Bash with Bone Plating. And this will grant you like a very strong laning phase. Although, if you actually want to like scale up a lot better in the game, and you want to get to your power spike a lot faster, I just recommend you to go for Magical Footwear with the Cosmic Insight instead. In terms of bonus stats, you should always take CDR Scaling. It's always better than taking 2 points into Adaptive Force. So you want to take CDR Scaling, AD, and Armor or Magic Resist, depending on what you're going to play against. If you don't know what you're playing against, then I recommend like Health Scaling. But ultimately, Armor or Magic Resist is the best you can take. Now, as far as the build that I always go for, it's always very straightforward. There's always like 2 builds that you want to go for. But starting off with the starter items. If you're playing against Poke, you always want to take Dorn Shield all the time. So Cannon, Jace, any champion that's like designed to like poke you, you always want to take Dorn Shield. Even like Gangplank, stuff like that. Even Fiora. Fiora even pokes too. However, if your opponent doesn't really have that much poke, you would just want to take Doran Blade. So any champion like Renekton, Darius, or whatever, any champion that's melee and doesn't poke, you want to take Doran Blade. And the only cases where I take Longsword myself, I know you guys have been asking a lot for this, you only want to take Longsword with 3 potions if you're playing against Kayle. Anything outside of playing against Kayle, the Doran Blade is a lot more consistent in most games. It's making you very strong, especially early on. So I always recommend going for that instead. Now, as far as the boots, it's always very simple. You want to rush the Ninja Tabis against like full AD comps. Also, when they have lots of AD, if they have lots of CC, you just want to take Mercs. Pretty much standard. Typically, you never really want to take Lucidity Boots unless you don't have CDR Scaling inside the bonus stats. If you don't have the bonus stats like the CDR Scaling, you just gotta swap around. Now, as far as the full builds, there's 3 builds that I use. Now, I use the Snowball build, which is the Ghost Blade. This is typically what I rush when I'm snowballing. into Black Cleaver. Also getting a Ninja Tubbies. There we go. Now, usually third item, it really depends on what you're playing against, but mainly if you're going for the Ghostblade build, what you could do when you're snowballing and everything's working out very well, you could always take like a Hydra and eventually take like a Guardian's Angel for survivability. Because remember, if you're going for this build, you need to have some kind of survivability, otherwise you're going to go down pretty fast in team fights. And for lasting, you always want to take like a Last Whisper. This is typically like the snowball build, I'd say. So if you're in a matchup such as I don't know, you're playing against like a Gangplank, for example, and you already have like 1 or 2 or 3 kills, you can actually snowball the game and end the game very fast if you're going for the Ghostblade build. So typically this is what I would recommend going for if you really want to snowball and end the game very fast. Now, if you're not snowballing, or you think that you need a lot of scaling, and you think that the mid late game is going to be pretty bad, then I always recommend actually taking the Black Cleaver build. So that would look like this, the Death Stance build, I mean. So this is typically what you want to rush pretty much most of your games, like 99% of your games. If you're unsure about the matchup, or you're not snowballing at all, or you think that you need like lots of scaling, or you think that you're going to need to 1v1 like a lot in the mid late game and you need really good team fighting, then typically this is the kind of build that you should be going for, which I call the scaling build. So you always want to mix it up eventually with one of the Last Whispers, just so it can like maximize your damage after getting the Black Cleaver Death Stance with the Guardian's Angel. Now, lastly, I always recommend getting a Sterix Gauge eventually, because this item, once again, allows you to tank up like a lot of damage from the enemy team if they have like a Z or something like that, or they all in you. Sterix Gauge is going to help you survive. It also allows you to become a lot more stronger. So then we have the final build, which I actually like a lot. I don't do this every game, but I do this in like a few. Typically rushing a Ghostblade. Eventually, let me quickly get the Ninja Tubbies. Eventually getting the Black Cleaver, and then mixing it up with a Death Stance. This is typically a very good build if you want to snowball the early game, winning the early game, and eventually scaling up towards mid late game, buying the Death Stance. Now, you do actually like get more CDR than you're supposed to. You're actually like overcapping the CDR, which doesn't provide anything. But the rest, like everything else of the Death Stance, is just broken. It's just really broken. So missing that tiny cooldown doesn't really matter too much. And eventually you can like mix it up with a Guardian's Angel, and eventually either get a Sterix Gauge or Last Whisper. Kind of depends on whether the enemy team is like lots of tanks or anything like that. So typically a build like this would look, it would look like this. There we go. This is also like a snowball build, but also like a scaling build kind of. This is typically what I always go for. But one last thing I got to say with this too. Usually what I do after level 9, or as soon as I come out of lane phase, typically what I do a lot is always taking the red trinket. Now I do this every game, because eventually, as soon as the laning phase is over, red trinket allows you to split push. It allows you to know where the wards are when you're trying to make a play, when you're setting up something. Either way, the red trinket is, in my opinion, it's been helping me a lot. It's a lot more valuable than anything else. The blue trinket doesn't beat it. The yellow trinket doesn't beat it. The red trinket is just the best choice after the laning phase is done. It just helps with everything. And the best part is just split pushing. So don't forget about the red trinket, guys. It's going to help you out a lot. Anyways, this is typically that the things that I always run when I play Riven. This is all the things that I'm using in my games. So yeah. Anyways, this is my quick guide on my runes builds. Currently actually rank 10 for those people actually wondering. 1000 LP challenge at the moment. Anyways, everything of this is being recorded live on stream. So if you actually want to like watch some Riven Challenger gameplay, don't forget to tune in on the stream, guys. Actually streaming right now. Streaming like 6 times a week, so don't forget to check that out, guys. But anyway, good luck on the grind on the last month of the ranks. Hopefully you guys get your rank. But anyway, thank you for watching today's YouTube video, and I'll catch you guys up in the next one. Peace.